Hello, hello, welcome everyone to our Thursday stream. How have you been? Hi, Yellow. Thank you for the follow, Bautach. We're gonna continue some Shogi book reading today. How do I do it? Let me remember how I set it up. We'll have our Jisho, of course, to help us read everything. But I am so unconscious today. Oh my god, I didn't sleep long enough. Display capture. Nope. This one? This is the Jisho, yes. Let's change it to the book, please. For some reason, my Adobe Reader updated today. And many things stopped working, but hopefully it's gonna work normally. All right, let's do this and let's put this here. Let's rename this as book reading PDF. All right, now it should be clear for me. Welcome everyone, thank you Shogi Explained for the ride. Hopefully you guys had an amazing time solving all of the tsume with tiny possible add-on of cheating. Yes, Lily. Also the 17 moves that you gave to Time Zombie, I think I solved, so if you want to show that. Well, that's for the weekend, I guess, Time Zombie, unless you want to post it on the Discord. Yeah, today we should concentrate on the book. Yeah, it would be on Sunday. That's a lot of... Yeah, I can watch it on Discord if you want, yeah. Or you can wait, yeah, to show it in the full glory in front of everyone. Thank you for the following. The Snowball, welcome. You play professional shogi. Yes. At least at the time when I was in Japan, I was. Okay, for some reason my overlay also broke. That's very interesting. Yeah. I'm saying because Time Zombies overlay broke today. Okay, Lily's think. Well, so this will be the least sume or waiting for the weekend if better. All right. Well, if you prefer we wait for the weekend, we shall be waiting for the weekend then. So today we will continue reading the book. And of course I'm gonna do a reminder. Is there any way I can? Okay. Reminder of everything we do. The program updated, so I have no idea what is everywhere anymore. Let me figure out if I can do the chapters somehow. All right, that helps. Yeah, full Sunday audience. Why is it black and white? I'm so confused today, guys. I slept 6 hours. Not enough for me. All right, so what we've done so far, if people don't know, this is an advanced shogi book about modern shogi principles or like theories. It's really hard to understand, so if you're a beginner, I don't want you to get discouraged. It's just kind of confusing. It's all in Japanese. I will be translating as I'm reading. And we've been doing for a few weeks already. We are on this chapter. Meantime, Zaibach, thank you for the 6 months. We started by reading about theory of relativity. Yeah, it sounds like Einstein thought about it. Then we went with prompt efficiency theory. How does it apply to shogi? You say, well, you can watch the previous VODs on our YouTube channel number 2. if you're interested. Then we have the durability theory. And finally, we arrived at the mobility theory. So the mobility, hopefully it allows me to copy. It didn't allow me to copy before. Updated for some reason. All right, it's working. Cool. So mobility. And we learned last week that mobility will be applied to big pieces. So we had example where I'm confused. This is durability. That's why I'm confused. All right. Where we applied to the rook, for example, the rook on the back line, we saw it in the newest bishop exchange opening. The rook is really affecting many squares, yeah, horizontally and vertically. And they showed us one or two variations. One a bad example when this rook on the 4 file looks like it's affecting the enemy's king. I should move the bishop page a little bit to the right. It's affecting the king, but it's not as mobile, and as a result we don't have good attack. And this rook, on the other hand, will help our defenses as well. Because in this variation, it's gonna affect this bottom rank. And for example here, if the enemy comes to attack, we are able to, instead of simply defending, counter attack with bishop drop. And the reason why this is possible is because this knight cannot be taken. The rook is here protecting this knight. The guard is protecting those squares. So this kind of sharp counter-attacking line is possible. And this bishop also will do the mobility thing. It's going to take this pawn and then retreat here, having a powerful influence over this big diagonal and this smaller one here. And together, this rook and the bishop, because being so mobile, will give Sente a lot of advantage here. That was the first example from the book. The second example we did last week was about this bishop in Yagura. We talked how to protect against the silver. Previously in the durability theory, I think we talked about bishop 6-8, protecting before the attack comes. But here they're showing us another example where while the enemy comes attacking, you activate your bishop again very strongly on the 4-6 square, attacking the rook directly, having the control over this big diagonal, limiting the enemy's attacking options. It's such a powerful move. And this is the last example we did, which was Millennium Castle. You guys on Tourney 2 series, Cactuar was playing this castle, for example. The reason why it's cool, according to this theory, if you compare it to Anaguma's bishop, this bishop has more squares to move, yeah? Being on 5-7, like here, it's much more effective preventing Gote from doing Silver Crown. Here it does nothing, yeah? It's just closed by the pawn. Here it prevents the Silver Crown and also allows us to put some pressure on those lines, attacking 2-4 perhaps, or defending 4-6. All those jobs the bishop is doing just by being on this very effective square. And here, just to show why this bishop is good, as a follow-up, you can see this knight jump. And if it's taken, there is a bishop to 3-7. It's going to pin the rook to the king, a very powerful counter-attack, yeah? And today I think we are supposed to go start looking more into Yagura, continuing the chapter of mobility. Any questions so far, guys? Do you have any questions so far? Oh, also before I forget, I think I will slowly start the registration for the new season of turning to series this week. Make sure to be on our Discord if you want to be notified. I just need to double check some details of our rules. I plan to make a tutorial for the Discord usage because I know many people are confused, so I learned a few tricks might make it easier to use Discord, and I wanted to make a video about that. And we will have teaching games on the 30th, so we will be able to start after that. Also, yeah, that's all for now. Well, Yagura is dead. Yagura is dead, is just trying to survive. Yagura is dead as a principle because the solid castle is dead. The idea of building solid defense is dead, not necessarily Yagura. No questions to you? All right. Thank you. Okay, we shall continue then. So this is game from 2020, the title match of Kyo, Watanabe versus Honda. Rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated, yeah. Alright, so the modern shogi is concentrating on Yoso Motomeru. So this idiom is like coming up a few times. Basically searching for the good move, searching for improving your position, yeah. And the question is, how is the mobility theory fitting into it? It fits very much, I guess. So yeah, I guess what they're meaning is, you know, your pieces becomes more mobile, so obviously they're better. Something like this. Sometimes I still hear his voice. What? Yagura, quit telling everyone I'm dead. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh god, too many kanji. Following that, getting little bit of minus the mobility theory, developing cases, also blah blah blah. Right, let's translate the blah blah blah. It's the least understandable for me. Sometimes, from time to time, time to time, virarete is seen. So they will give us example that we're gonna lose something, but it's gonna be, I assume, I don't know yet, but I assume it's something as in chess, you sacrifice a pawn for mobility, maybe that's what they mean, to some extent unprofitable. So that's not the thing, that's the thing. So in diagram 18, we'll have Yagura Riki-sen, which means like the free shape, as the free fight, as they translate on 81 Dojo. So it's not Joseki, it's just something that came up out of Joseki. Non-standard Yagura shape. Sent has something with the bishop. The bishop is sleeping, they say. The bishop is sleeping. And even if you move the bishop to 7-9, it doesn't seem like it's helping much. Because, you know, there is a silver on the way. Exchanging this pawn isn't really beneficial. So the bishop is the problem, yeah? And this is where you're gonna play the silver back, as on this diagram. So this is the minus that we were talking about. The silver moved twice. If you guys know how Yagura works, you move the silver up to here, then the silver up to 7-7. But here what we're doing is moving the silver back. So de facto we wasted 2 moves, yeah? We moved the silver up and then down. We wasted 2 moves. But as a result, we have made the bishop influence bigger. So, oh gosh, the kanji. So basically, it's not going to be so bad. It's not supplement leftover arrow. So supplement. Oh, okay, I see. So yeah, the judgment, the evaluation of this position is that even if we lost 2 moves, it's enough. Yeah, we have the bishop that's working, so we're happy with that. What's the advantage of playing silver 7-7 if Gote doesn't play pawn 8-5? So I don't know if you remember, Yellow, that the Yagura Joseki starts with pawn push, rook pawn push, silver up, pawn push, silver 7-7. And we talked about that silver 7-7 and pawn 6-6 are both possible. So I assume what happened is he played silver 7-7 in that position. And then they came back. We could check this game. If someone can Google it, this game. Exactly how it came to be. But I assume that's what happened. Like, he tried to go for a Yagura, then Gote changed the shape, so they're gonna reopen the bishop. Yeah. All right. So yeah, the bishop is like striking directly into enemy's camp now. And the power of the counter-attacking power is much, much higher now. This is a totally different feeling than if you were to move the bishop to 7-9, right? I think you can guys see it clearly, yeah? Bishop on 7-9, it doesn't really affect anything, blocked by the silver. This bishop, ooh, what a beauty, yeah? Looking, de facto, like forcing this silver to be stuck here, allowing maybe this knight and this silver to develop. And we still have a castle intact, so it's not like it's a bad move. It's a very beautiful bishop we have here. And they say, next we are targeting 4-5 silver. Silver takes, bishop promotion, gold takes, knight retakes the silver. And as we know from the prompt efficiency theory, having the knight on the 5th row, it's super good, yeah? And they say that even if Gote understands this target, they cannot defend it. Yeah, so having a position like this is very, very good for Sente. This silver going back opening the bishop line method. Something is high. The usage. Adaptability. All right. So it's very useful tactic for you to have, guys. And there is a lot of similar examples in the position 20. So this one. This is also shogi that proves it as a successful method. From this position, Sente will play again 6-8 silver, opening the bishop line, right? Gote will try to defend, prepare their camp with 4-2 bishop. But as we have the bishop open, this pawn 5-5, pawn takes, bishop takes, it's going to happen. Pawn 8-5, bishop comes back to 7-7, leading to this diagram. So we exchanged the middle pawn and relocated our bishop to 7-7. And it says that Sente has the leadership in this position. So initiative or is little better, something like that. So next. Next will be because we have a pawn in hand, yeah? We exchange the middle pawn. 3-5 pawn, pawn takes 3-4, sorry, this one. 3-4, pawn drop. Yeah, this didn't make sense, I was confused. 3/5 pawn takes pawn drop to the silver's head is the fun way to continue attacking. So I think is that Gote sees this attack and they cannot castle Yagura anymore, basically. Because, you know, if the king is on 2/2 and you have this bishop looking at the king and then you have this beautiful attack on the silver, that's not a possible castle you can make, right? Again, because the silver exchanged the 5th pawn, you can also activate your rook to 5/8 in the future. And now it's the bolded text that says, to make a lot of pathway to your big piece, yeah? So we make a pathway for our bishop, we make the pathway for our rook. Is the best way to immediately like widen your attacking options. I mean, it's kind of funny reading this because I think we Europeans as chess players, because we have the chess experience, we literally know how important it is to have bishop line open or to have the rook line open, right? So if you think of it in like chess, it's like, yeah, we have to put the rook in the open file and keep the bishop open. It's the same idea. But because in Shogi we have only those 2 pieces, how much more impactful that is, yeah? How much more important it is. And if you guys think, oh, it doesn't apply to me, I always know about it, think about last time you played a handicap Shogi and where was your bishop, yeah? Last week we did some handicap Shogi too. How those bishops or rooks were blocked by the handicap giver, eh? Yellow is saying at the cost of 2 wasted moves in the opening, the watchtower bishop on 7/7 is the strongest piece on the board. Do you think it's a good trade? Definitely. I mean, what can Gote do? Sure, it does look like we've wasted a move, but we've destroyed totally their strategical idea of building Yagura. How good that is. Yeah. Oh, you wanted to make Yagura? Haha, no. Yeah, that's a huge influence we have there. Also, under the diagram it says Gote. Gote used the durability theory of keeping the pawn on for free, yeah? We talked about that if the pawn is on 4/4, pawn 4/5 is a good attack for Sente. So Gote used the durability theory of keeping the issue point in non-existent, keeping the pawn bottom. But Sente, against that durability theory, used the mobility theory and made a way to... This is a very Japanese expression, Jesus. Is the first step of taking them by storm or something like that. Yeah. I'm concerned that Gote could make attacks with knight jump. Hitting the bishop followed by pawn h6. If the silver cannot move up to support the attack, I think it might be complicated fight. Is it meaningful for Gote now to disturb the shape with knight jump? I mean, we will be fighting, yeah, using efficiency theory, right? So I think it's good. So first think, okay, let's just consider this position. Knight jump. The bishop is under attack. We have to escape. You can escape either here, here, or sacrifice it or go to the edge. Sacrificing it is little too much. Going to 5/5 has no target. Going to 6/6 maybe. Going back or going up. So I would consider those 3 moves. And if we go to the edge, they will have to defend our promotion by the gold up move. And then our bishop is trapped. So pound push, our bishop is dead, yeah? So I would consider going up or down. And for example, if we go to 8-8, they're gonna push, take, rook takes, pawn drop. We're gonna go down, then we kill the knight. We still have a pawn in hand. After we take the knight, we can put the bishop on 5-5, which will be a powerful move once again. No, the silver will go up. We can jump with the knight as well, stuff like that. I think we wouldn't be unhappy in that case. Thank you for the follow, Mongole. Nobuyu says, even if the attack comes, that it's not so strong at the moment, since the pieces would make a pretty disconnected attack. The bishop couldn't join since the pawn blocks the diagonal of the bishop and cannot be pushed because of the knight. This one, yeah? This bishop is blocked by this pawn. But this is one of those situations we talked about last week, I believe. It's forcing Gote to move, yeah? And if we force Gote to move, we're fighting on our own terms and we're quite happy. I mean, the fight is going to start. It's Shogi. I mean, it will happen. So it's not like our point is to seal off everything. Our point is to mess up with opponent's strategy and then fight for tactics, yeah? So we managed to mess up with their strategy. Our bishop is so much better. Look about this way. If the fight starts now, we have a better rook, better bishop. We're happy, yeah? Because this bishop will be frozen, remember? It will be very slow to be activated from now on. So just looking at the big piece, we will have the advantage. But obviously, it's not like we're gonna win the game just from this position. It's still gonna be a fight, but we have quite good chances to... quite good advantage before the fight started, yeah? Yeah. So that's the logic. But of course, I mean, it's difficult. Those are two pros playing, yeah? If you look closely. Those are two pros playing. So naturally, they won't be making a bad shape. Naturally, there's gonna be equal or almost equal game. The point of this book and this chapter in this position here is just to show you how amazing it is to have this bishop so mobile, because it allows you to attack so strongly, yeah? It widens your options. So that's the point. It doesn't mean this position have to be winning. It's just the point to show you that it's applicable here. All right. Next we have 2020 game, also professional game. 2 4-dans playing. So like 4-dans is like 4-dans is the lowest professional rating you can have for general pro, as opposed to lady pro. And usually when you see 4-dans playing, you see those fresh ideas from Shurika. It's quite different type of shogi you're gonna be watching. So let's see. And so... oh god, so many kanji. Let's start with those two. So those two mean technique. How do I read it? Giho. Okay. Technique. You can see this technique used in other shogi openings as well. Now let's see exactly what they meant. In this example, the big pieces efficiency, making it bigger. Okay, this is a very translated. So the idea of making the big piece efficiency bigger is used because it's used. The way of thinking where Fixed sacrifice. Interesting. To pay this sacrifice, multiplicity of this. Okay, so this example will make more sense, but it's basically about making certain sacrifices to make pieces more efficient. Basically, we're in the chess territory right now. So in the example number 22, diagram 22, silver 7-5 will be played. Yeah, silver 7-5 in front of the rook. Bishop is protecting it. The rook will have to go down. And as a result, its power will be lower, right? Because the rook being on 7-6 square is much more efficient than being on 7-9. And as a result, you may think it's against the mobility theory. Yeah, because we force the rook to go back. But in this Kifu, to avoid that situation of rook being inefficient, they pushed the 6-5 pawn. Silver retook it. And rook came to 3-6 square. Isn't it beautiful? I think it's so cool. So this is the sacrifice, the scapegoat that we were talking about. The 1 pawn sacrifice allowed the big piece to the influence to widen. Yeah. Before the rook was here, very efficient here and here, but now it's also efficient on this long row. And yeah, it's also affecting the enemy's Anaguma. You love that, cool. It kind of feels like quick Kishida style a little bit. Also, one more thing they didn't mention, but this is Furibisha game, yeah? We saw the bishop exchange, we saw the Yagura. In Furibisha, it's also applicable. Yeah, as a result, the Sentes rook has no way to be captured, yeah? So we're quite calm about it. About its future. The Gote will try to keep the pawn advantage because we sacrificed a pawn. They will try to keep the pawn advantage and protect this pawn by 3-3 gold. But we're gonna push the 5-6 pawn. Pawn takes, knight jump. And it's gonna be like this. You see, they defended, we exchanged, knight jump. What if Gote ignores the sacrificial pawn and plays 7-5? Then we don't have to go back. We can go to the side. Yeah, that's the whole point. Because the rook on the bottom is inefficient, we keep the rook efficient no matter what he does. Hello, Kashima. And the 7-7 gonna allow us to use the knight. That was the Asabi Goma, was the well, basically useless piece. Yeah, doing nothing. It's going to be active now. The worst possible case scenario for Sente was that the rook is gonna be on 7-9 blocked, but it managed to stay on the 4th row. In this case 6, I guess, but it managed to stay here. And it was the most important condition for the rook to stay active, yeah. Alexei said that in one of his streams that sorry. Said on one of his streams that one Furibisha weakness is the difficulty of activating the left knight. That's true. Yeah, in the past there was this proverb: if Furibisha manages to activate the knight, it's better off. So it's not about the rook doing something. For now, it's about existing, but you're gonna see Zaibach here. They're gonna show a variation, I think. They're not gonna show, maybe not. But because we sacrifice this 5-6 pawn, it's gonna be able to come back with more power, kinda. You don't feel comfortable here? Okay, guys. But do you feel comfortable if the rook was here? That's the main question. Do you prefer to have rook here? Or do you prefer to have rook here? Yeah? 3-6 or 7-9? If you're gonna put the rook on 7-9, 7-8, see, oh no! Ah! Alright, I have to argue this point now. Not play Shogi. Play Shogi? Can I do it on play Shogi? Playground, so I want it. Share new buff, no. Edit, yes. Reset, even. The rook was here, the pawn is in hand, the silver is here, the king is somewhere there. The silver is here. There's something about Mino, was it? Was it Mino? I can see it on my right side. Wait, yeah, I can see it. Okay, Mino. Pawn push, pawn not pushed, bishop here. Pawn push, pawn push, pawn pushed, bishop here. Is this correct? It looks correct. All right. All right. So, double check if the position is correct. So, if we pass, play another move, and you go here, CO, the only option is to go here. Preferable starting moves. Open your bishop, open your rook line. Kashima. You want to activate your big pieces, so I would recommend starting with pushing the rook pawn. Then trying it out, and then watching Hidechi's video about climbing silver. Hidechi on YouTube. I recommend that. If the rook comes here, CO, this pawn will come. You wanna take it. Silver is going to take, and look how your rook will be close to this silver next. And has no way of like activating it. It's gonna be under attack soon, yeah? I mean, there's some things that can be done, but as a position, it's not the best. If you do this, your rook continues being active, de facto protecting this square. Yeah. You keep protection of this square, that's also important. And now we have this position, right? I mean, this move looks kind of weird, but it's just an example. And then we go here, this knight gets activated, and that's the best thing. Yeah, so the point is basically, do you prefer to have the rook here? Or do you prefer to have the rook here, yeah? Which one feels better? Let's assume this or this, I don't know. Here or here? By modern shogi theory, it's much cooler to have the rook here because you have more options. If you keep it here, it looks kind of stuck and it feels stuck. And if you play it enough Furibisha, you know that usually it's really hard to sabaki rook like this. It's easier to sabaki rook like that. All right. Back to the book topic. Yeah, there's no immediate pressure. Yeah. Yeah. So it's just this theory. Let's accept it for now. We don't have to agree with the theory itself. But that's the point the book is making. I mean, it's point of learning to like adopt different strategies and different positions. But for now, you see two pros playing a game. They play this move, and you have to wonder what kind of years of experience made them think this is a good move, yeah? And yeah, as Zaibach mentioned, the best thing about it is that there is no reason for us being afraid of the rook being taken or pressured. The problem is, yeah, we lost the pawn, but if they're going to keep the pawn advantage, we're simply activating our left knight. And centerpiece's movement becomes better. If the rook was on the bottom, this kind of variation wouldn't be even possible, right? So it's much cooler to have the rook here. So as a result, we actually force the silver back, right? Send the Ishidari. We will be able to move the rook back to the quick Ishida position. We also managed to exchange the fifth file pawn. As a result, this bishop on 5-9 also became easier to use. In the position 25. All right, so there is some variation that we're missing, but this is basically okay, here's the variation. We're gonna see it in a second. All right, so from this position, they didn't escape immediately. They promoted the pawn. Let me do this. They promoted the pawn. Gold took it. Then the silver retreat. The rook came back to the quick Ishida position. The gold went back because this shape is horrible and you should never let it go like this. The gold went back. This gold also is in bad shape, so it went back. Then they finished the Anaguma. And finally this bishop gets active. So yeah. Now let's consider this position. Ooh, that's too much consideration. Let's consider this position, guys. How beautiful this rook is working. Woo, woo, everywhere, yeah? How beautiful this bishop is working. Attacks all this square. If you know about Ishida, pawn drop, pawn takes, rook exchange will be possible next to this bishop. We'll be able to even exchange the bishops or put the bishop here, put the bishop there. This bishop has a lot of options, yeah? So it's a very beautiful, beautiful bishop. I'm pretty sure somebody in the chat will ask, but what if this pawn push is going to happen? Pawn takes, rook takes is the only option. Rook exchange, there is a rook drop to fork the bishop and the gold. So it's fine, yeah, for now. Anaguma is not ready for the attack, and we'll be able to pressure it before the Anaguma is ready. So, how do you guys think about this position? Is it a good position? Is it an ideal position for the Ishida style? It is, right? So, it was definitely worth sacrificing this 1 pawn, right? So that's the book. That's what the book is saying. It was totally worth sacrificing that 1 pawn. Why does Ishida want to exchange rooks against Anaguma? No, it's just an example. Not necessary you want to do it here. I mean, again, those are two pros playing. So it's gonna be equal position. But the point is, again, we have a lot of options thanks to those pieces being so beautifully activated right now. The mobility theory is what the hammer. It seems to affect all of the pieces, but its main target piece is the big piece. I guess that's what they're saying. So the big piece, like rook and the bishop, at the lowest. I don't know. Most extremely cost expense. I guess the sacrifice, the cost of sacrifice is the biggest so far, but also the effect of that strategy is huge, right? So we lose moves, we lose pawns, but as an effect, we're able to keep the amazing advantage because of piece mobility. Thank you for the follow, Periwinkle. Oh god. Because of that, to make the influence bigger, to not block your own pieces, to make a pathway for them, sometimes giving up a disadvantage in form of moves or like passing move or a pawn. Sometimes that sacrifice is necessary. The big pieces, brute force, serious, just genuine power, I guess. The power of the big piece, if you manage to activate those big pieces, naturally, I think you're able to create a good fight. Inevitably. Okay, so that's not natural, it's even stronger. It's inevitable. The power, your fighting power is going to rise, yeah? So, yeah, I guess Shimeta mono there. Shimeta. What is Shimeta? Bingo. Okay. So, yep, basically. Mobility theory applies mostly to the big pieces. You have to make sure that they're either active, not blocked, or they have new pathways to go to. And sometimes you have to sacrifice a pawn or a move to do so. But having those pieces active, you're able to fight strongly. Yeah. As we saw in those examples. It's the pact around Kaku. Oh, here? No, it's Mino Castle. It's a castle. It's a good shape. Mino Castle. And next, the mobility theory is used not only in the opening, but also in the middle game. It has, it's a powerful technique. In the position 26, you see the double static rook, free shape, free game, non-standard shape of double static rook. I'm gonna translate it as non-standard shape. I don't care about Hidechi's translation. Non-standard shape of static rook. There is we are at the difficult point of the middle game. Okay, so let's take a look. We have the king, we have bishop exchange, they're both in the hand. And didn't move the 2 to silver. We would like to do something about this position as Gote. From now on, we're gonna use the mobility theory, and we're gonna see the practical usage of it. Starting from 7-5 pawn, pawn takes, silver takes. We're gonna redrop the pawn, and then the silver goes back, okay? Like this, so we exchange the 7-5 pawn. It's a title match from the 2020 Osho Cup. So we exchange the pawns as on this example. We don't want to exchange the pawn just to have a piece in hand. So the reason why we exchange is not to have the piece, but to make this rook more active. That's the main reason, to make the rook active. Now it can move to the side. Even if I say so, it's hard to see the exact effect immediately. So let's see a little bit more. Then push the gold up to 3-8 to prepare the camp, but there is a big change happening in 3 moves from this position. Gote could play 8-5 rook to attack the silver, but in the future the 7-7 knight would attack the rook and chase it away. So we would like to keep the best position. So we won't be able to keep that best position of the rook, yeah? So 3 moves from now it's gonna change. Gold up. Let me do it like this. Gold up. Silver 5-5. Knight jumps in. Silver 4-4. And we arrive at this position. So silver climbed here and here. Now the rook is more active, right? Silver changed the position. This is the position. This is the reason why we exchange the 7-5 pawn. As you continue here, the rook's sideways, like the attacking power is much more developed. Here, if the silver takes the silver, rook will retake it. And as a result, we will be attacking this 3-4 pawn as well. So, okay. So yeah, if we take the rook takes, we put the pressure on the pawn, which center doesn't want to happen. So the silver will go back instead. And after the silver goes back, Gote actually pushes the 2-4 pawn. A very light move. If the rook line wasn't open, after silver 4-4, silver takes, we would have to retake it with the pawn, and the king diagonal would be open, right? All right, let me explain it backwards a little bit. So we have this position, and this 3-4, 3-5 silver is a very good shape for center, right? So Gote naturally would like to delete it if they can. And we would like to move the silver here. But if we do it now, silver takes, pawn takes, opens up our king. So by activating the rook, silver takes, rook takes becomes possible. Not only making our rook more effective, but also protecting our king indirectly. Pushing more pressure on 3-4. And then the variation that's left, what if they go back? Well, we push the 2-4 pawn. Next, we're targeting to activate this silver to 2-3. Because that's, you know, the only piece that's really not active in our position right now. If you take the pawn, this pawn drop at the knight's head is going to happen. The knight can jump. Then we can take, promote, gold takes, bishop drop, rook goes back, knight drop. Okay, it's kind of hard to explain variation. Let me quickly show you. They don't explain it too well here. I wish you guys see this position and see, oh yes, we know what's going on, so I'm gonna show it to you on the board. So we exchange this pawn, right? We take, they redrop, we go back. Then they move the gold, then we move the silver, then they move the knight, then they move the silver. Is the pawn number correct? Yeah. It's what's going to happen. We go back, we put this pawn. Now they cannot take it. If they take it, this pawn drop happens. Knight jumps, because they can. We take the knight. They take our silver. Promote the pawn. Gold has to take. Wait, this pawn is here actually. And then bishop drop happening. It's a fork. The rook can protect. But because we took the knight drop basically give us full advantage in this position. They cannot run away. If they do, the gold falls. If they attack the bishop, we just take the rook. We take 2 pieces as an effect, yeah. And directly attack the king. So that's very bad for Sent. Hope you enjoy me explaining long variations like this. I think it's very useful to actually use the playground to show you variations. Maybe I should do it more often. I feel it's easier to visualize things. Tell me what you guys think. Okay, back to the book. So yeah, this happens. In that case, Gote is much better. So yeah, next we're gonna play 2-3 silver and we're gonna be happy. So again, it's not winning. It's just that we managed to open up the rook sideways influence. We managed to put our silver to a very effective square, 4-4 silver. Next, we managed to push the 2-4 pawn. As a result, we'll be able to delete this silver wall. So yeah, this is a beautiful variation showing us the amazingness of the mobility theory. Yellow says it's kind of like the reverse of mobility theory. Gote's tactical agi exists partially because Sente's rook doesn't have enough mobility. That's also true. But yeah, the main point the book is showing is that our rook is quite active and quite helping. I mean, yellow, if we're gonna argue this point, you can argue that their rook is quite mobile here. But yes, we managed to block it both sideways and in front. So yeah, maybe in that case you're right. We make it very unpleasant for the enemy's rook, yeah? So position number 30. Okay, let me quickly check how much we have left. Oh, it's like the last example before next chapter, right? Gambarimashou. Let's do our best. So position 30, center moved back. I don't know where they moved it from. It just said back, so probably from 7-3 or somewhere. Moved back the horse. All right, so let's analyze this position first. We have the king. I wonder if I should... Let's do a little bit more new style of the stream here for a second. Let's look at the position while looking at the position. Let's make a cheat. I should do an overlay for that later maybe, so that it's easier for me to do, because I think it's a very cool way to do it. Yeah, for now I'm gonna put here because I need to see the board. Even, so we have a knight and a silver here. Here we have a silver and 2 knights. And then 5 pawns. Oh my god, where from? So those 2 pawns disappeared. There is no pawn here, so that's 3. Then we don't have this pawn and this pawn. And Gota has no pawn. Sorry, now this pawn is pushed. This rook gonna teleport here. This bishop's gonna teleport here. Those 2 generals will be here. This silver is somewhere weird. This rook is going to be here. And this pawn is not here. Okay. The bishop here. All right, so play something like this, yeah. Whip. Now I won't be able to use my translation there. So in this position, we move the horse back. And Gote will have the rook advantage. Let's confirm that. Does he have the rook advantage? So we have 2 silvers, we have 3 silvers, we have 4 silvers. So we have all the silvers, and we have all the knights, but we are missing the rook indeed. All right, we're missing the rook. The 5th rook is what we're missing. So we have to do our best to deal with the situations. Next, if we drop the 6-4 knight drop, kanji. So the knight drop, this knight drop here, will harm enormously. Will be a great move for us. Yellow says maybe pawn 4-5. What? 3? 5-4. I think it might be something. I don't know. It is the correct move. Actually, we cannot wait. Yeah, we cannot move the king because the rook is protected. Pawn drop, yeah. Yellow is mentioning this line. Oops, this line. So yes, we're trying to activate the rook, but then the rook dies, so it's useless. So probably it's something about the other piece. It looks like it's hard to deal with the situation, but there is a mega like clutch using the mobility theory, and the move is to play the dragon 7-9, and it's an amazing move. I don't really understand why. Ooh, all right, I see. So what it's targeting is that next we're gonna drop the knight, and then it's gonna be check while attacking the horse. Yeah. So that would be powerful. And side note, we cannot take the knight because it's a checkmate. Yeah. So that's a powerful move right here. It's beautiful. So yeah, Santa doesn't have the time to drop the knight, eh? This knight. Goddess weak dragon came, woke up, awaken, and brought this Shogi to a very scary variation. So the mobility theory is used in many white positions, many different situations, changing the whole battlefield at once, yeah? Sore wa hito ni. Solely effect of moving the piece and making its efficiency bigger, yeah? It's only thanks to that piece efficiency getting bigger that the whole fighting power changes. They also mention a variation here, so we're gonna check it. They say if they drop the knight to block our dragon, we have 2 knights, so we keep the initiative. We're gonna drop the 4/4 knight. You know, targeting the silver drop here. So they're gonna defend it. And then we can make a check here. As a result, Gotha is not really able to drop the knight here at any time, yeah? They're being harassed. They're not able to expose that rook. Wrong variation. Which variation? Knight drop. Oh, I see. Saying knight drop. If we drop the knight, king goes up. We take it, but there is a knight drop. I see. Let's consider that variation then. So one example is, I think we simply can take the knight, and the promotion next is threatening checkmate. So they can take the knight, we run. I mean, I don't know, rook drop or something. Oh, maybe rook drop here is quite powerful too. But then we have the knight to drop here, so let's assume, I don't know, something like this. Something like this, beat up. And well, this is hanging. We can probably take this and need to do a checkmate. For example, yeah. Ah, no, there is a horse here. It's not a checkmate then. It's still a checkmate. Still a checkmate. Yep. So like, I mean, the main point again is like this looks hopeless, right? This move looks hopeless for Gote, but having this move, it creates a fight. So again, even if it's not clear, I think it's clearly winning here, but even if it wouldn't be, it makes this a good fight once more, yeah? It allows us to change our hopeless situation into a hopeful one. At least, but at best, this is winning for Gote. Probably winning for Gote. Okay. But good question. It is definitely a beautiful move. All right. So our chapter end goes with saying that even if your piece is weak, mobility theory, power up. Yeah, I guess this diagram is quite easy to understand today. Quite easy to understand diagram. To make the piece more efficient, or to raise the piece efficient influence. This is the basics of the mobility theory. In shogi, if you promote the piece, it becomes stronger, but okay, the grasping of the fact, okay, there's the fact that they're trying to say something important, and I'm trying to translate it properly, but we all know that when peace promotes, it becomes stronger, right? But it's not the fact of the promotion that makes the piece stronger. It's a little bit silly way, or like weak way to understand it. The way to think about it is, because the piece got promoted, it can move to more squares, right? It has more influence, and because of that, it's stronger. Yeah? So, simply speaking, it's not about you having a dragon yellow, it's about you using the dragon beautifully, yeah? And it's easier to use it, or it's more powerful to use it because it has more squares it affects. So do not block your dragons, people. Yeah, so this is the hidden mystery of the peace power, yeah? It's about how effective they are, how many squares they move, not only the fact that they are promoted. I keep forgetting what this expression means. Yosuruni, in short. In short, kiki no. If you keep rising the number of squares that they can affect, your attacking power will raise, or your fighting ability will raise. Yeah, we saw the bishop. We saw that it can move to many squares. We had many options to use the bishop. We saw the rook on the bottom. It allowed you to counterattack with the bishop. Because you use your piece's efficiency, you have more options to fight with. The mobility theory is a theory where you make each piece stronger. The target is to make a piece with high value, almost as if you were to promote that piece. Okay, that's kind of a weird expression. But yeah, basically you want to make your piece a super piece, yeah? By making it very efficient. So that it shines at your camp like it was promoted, but actually just very effective. Especially the big piece. It's applied to the big pieces. The efficiency is clearly visible. Oh no. Japanese expression again. Strong heart. Weapon. All right. So again, it's because we're trying to get a better position or better shogi, or we're trying to get some benefit. in order to do so, we have this amazing weapon in our arsenal right now. Yep. Did we guys learn something today? Yes, shogi is like chess. Woo! Yeah, that's exactly the whole chapter. Yeah, sometimes you don't necessarily need to promote, but usually big pieces you want to promote them. The not necessary promote usually applies to the knight or the silver because they have the unique movement. In case of small pieces, you sometimes want to keep that movement, but big piece, generally you want to promote them unless there is some specific reason of endgame that you don't want to because of pawn drop checkmate or stuff like that. If you're a beginner, just promote your big pieces as a rule. If you can, just do it. Tanigawa wrote that removing your opponent's stronger defending piece is a severe way to drive your attack home. In the last example, Gote didn't remove a strong defensive piece, but activated his strongest piece, attacking piece, which seemed to change the balance of power in similar way. Yeah, so Sente is actually attacking the strongest defensive piece of Gote, the rook. Yeah. This guy. But Gote is doing a defending tactic, which is attacking the attacker. And also using this technique of defensive attacking move. So remember, I guys told you a few weeks ago, defensive attacking move is the strongest move you can make in the endgame, right? This is one example. Not only threatening the king, but also defending. Very powerful. And that's the result also because the king is in a weird spot and quite unsafe. The knight jump, king cannot go down because of the silver. Drop, not jump. Knight. The bishop is also quite efficient here. So it's like lucky. It's very lucky. There was a game I lost that I have planned to submit for Shogi Sunday where my opponent used an exact same idea of activating the useless dragon in the endgame. I made the connection with what we learned today, and it's like the lights have just turned on in a dark room. That's great, Yellow. It's great. Good to hear that. Means you learned something. Cool. Oh my gosh, that's cool. Hege Mege says, and promoting for the sake of promoting for the sake of promoting can result in slower attack. Yes. If you have a silver, sometimes, like this gold, for example, yeah, let's assume this is a silver that got promoted. It would be quite useless here, yeah? But maybe here you were able to keep the silver and promote it here or stuff like this. It depends on the situation, yeah? Basically, you want to avoid having heavy pieces like this. If unpromoting it helps you keep it unpromoted, yeah? To keep it more active. Okay, so let me summarize. We will have another sub-chapter in the chapter. And the translation of that is the king movement scope, I guess. The scope that he can move at. So we will be we talked about big pieces, but I assume we're gonna talk about king mobility. Oh, this is like clearly endgame. Ooh, so we'll have more endgame mobility next week. Okay, this is a long chapter, so we're gonna keep it for the next week. Yeah, so we're trying to escape the triangle of death, as we talked about before. In 2 weeks, we're probably gonna start talking about the safety theory. By the way, guys, if you think we should do those streams more often, propose stuff like this on Discord. If you think it's good tempo, like 1 stream per week, Then of course we're gonna continue. And to summarize the chapter, let's summarize the half of the chapter that we did. So I believe we started with the bishop position, where we activated the bishop by moving the silver back. Then we talked about the rook, where the rook should be. Then we activated our amazing Ishida style position. We talked about the efficiency, like, okay, so this was sacrificing a pawn. Here is an exchange of pawn. We took it to activate our rook again, allowing us to delete the wall. And here, finally, we talked about a middle game example where the dragon, again, piece activation, not only in the opening, in the middle game, had an amazing effect on the position. That was a lot of reading, but once I scrolled through it all, it was very quick. But I'm pretty sure you guys learned a lot on every step. About this importance of sacrifice whenever it's a material or the tempo. About the piece efficiency and how amazing it can be in the middle game or the opening, yeah? So next week we're gonna continue from here. Sometimes I see that the opponent gets to promote their bishop but ends up being in passive position. Yeah, so that's something you have to keep in mind. Exactly, Hegemege. Yes, Kashima, please. Mino castle is very important. The most basic castle you have to learn. The other castles you can check is like Yagura, Anaguma. You can go literally to a Wikipedia page. They have like many castles. Some of them are not used. But if you continue watching Hidechi on YouTube, he's going to have many videos. If you go to our Discord, we have also like many shogi resources there. You can take a look. But if you watch Hidechi, it's not wrong. Good to hear, Yellow. Good to hear. And if you guys have any questions, it's the last moment to ask them about the book, about anything else. We have nobody streaming now. It would be funny if we rate XQC. XQC played Shogi today, apparently, because of the... what's the name of that Switch game? Clubhouse? He played it. I will have to watch the VOD. Exciting. And yeah, keep looking forward to the registration for 22 series. We're almost there. If you have any ideas about what we should do stream about, or if I should touch certain topics or do like, for example, oh, you should do more sumo stream, just make sure you send me a message privately or publicly on Discord. I will be very happy to talk about what you guys want to do. You have so many questions about countermeasures of Ishida Ryu. Yeah, that's quite a big question. But CEO, I recommend you play one game of that and bring it on Sunday stream, and then bring a bunch of questions for that Kifu that you sent, and maybe we can discuss that on Sunday. How about that? Yeah, the Clubhouse Nintendo 151. All right. I don't know where the 51 comes from. Maybe the number of the games. If you check our Discord, there is the VOD of him playing that. 50Y Worldwide Classics. I'm happy they included Shogi, but I mean, Nintendo is Japanese, so hey. You would expect them to put Shogi there, the most popular game in Japan. Okay, I don't see much questions, chat, so I guess I shall be finishing. If you have any, of course, Discord is there. And I will see you on Saturday stream. where we're gonna play more games, and of course Sunday stream where we're gonna analyze your Kifu. Thank you so much for being active in the chat and coming and listening. See you on the Discord. Bye bye.